banks. And two, the servicing aspect of an OEM, the responsibility today is reduced because it's only one consumer complaining versus one MSME complaining where they have thousands of vehicles given to them for a fleet building, right? The level of service level agreements, the negotiation power that you have is very different. Companies are still adapting to the response time to give to individual customers like us. But if a company goes that has bought 1,000 vehicles, 2,000, 5,000 vehicles, and they're really pushing heavy volumes to two or three different companies, and we work with such companies, they're bound to sort of service you. They can't, at that point, take it for a toss and not service you. So there was a very careful choice to go into that market. And two-wheeler overall within the newer manufacturers, it's risky today. We don't entirely trust the newer OEMs that have come in this space, but of course the legacy ones, like TVS is doing really well in the two-wheeler space, and like Bajaj is also introducing EV soon in the two-wheeler space. So I'm sure that those kind of OEMs will bring in their legacy and their expertise. The newer ones, I think, are still trying to make their ways, but there's a long way to go to build that level of credibility among consumers.
And not even Ether.
We have done Ether, we've done Hero, we've done Bigos. There are a bunch of other newer brands that have also come in the space. Ether's been performing quite well. Their aftermarket services are good, is why even the challenges that come in the beginning, like any kind of teething issues, are taken care of because the OEMs and their dealership network is responsive. Certain other companies, there's a big challenge, beat them really big. There's a challenge with communication, there's a challenge with getting service time, turnaround times for, faster servicing. It's a pain. So with a couple of
Yeah.
companies, it's been good.
I mean, Ola had like more than 45, 49% market
Market
share
share. Yeah.
almost
That's why I
last
said,
year.
as per sales data, yes, these companies are
But that's
large.
a big tough call to take, right? I mean, you're leaving a big chunk of market
Yeah.
like out of the door, and that time there was not such issues, or maybe there were some issues coming in. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I think the kind of operators we work with that take two-wheelers for their fleet, like say anyone who's delivering for Zepto, Blinkit, Swiggy, Zomato, these guys also use two-wheelers, right? So any two-wheeler that a fleet operator takes to deliver for Zomato or for any other company, they do their performance and quality checks. They understand customer feedback. They keep the vehicle on trial for multiple months. And so we just not bank on what the size of the OEM is, but we also understand the actual feedback on ground. And it's a very strategic call to leave that chunk of business because uh, recovery for loans is what we do, right? Disbursements or giving out new loans is the most easy job in the world, in my opinion. You like someone, you give the loan. You don't like someone, you don't give the loan. You have a template. It may fit, it may not fit. It's disbursement is not really the challenge for us. I think it's the recovery. And when we're doing a vehicle loan, recovery comes from the asset. If the asset is not reliable, it's essentially like an unsecured loan that we don't want to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, recovery is tough, and you guys are handling it yourself. You don't have like a third
So,
party.
being an NBFC, I think most people have it in house. You do take support from outsourced agencies. But so far for us, it's been in house. And we work in, tier two, tier three markets also, like Bihar, MP, UP, Orissa. These are our big markets, UP being the largest. So having people locally hired, helping them make connections with the customers on ground. So those things are very important to us, which is why sticking to certain, boring traditional lending practices also works sometimes, and not always a more fintech approach. But we like being a little old school and taking it slow because it's a lending business and not a fintech business.
So this sort of brings me the question in terms of, so you mentioned recovery is like disbursement is easy, but recovery is difficult. Any other part of this business which you thought was tricky when you started doing it and realized later on this is also something interesting that needs to be handled with care or taken care?
Lots of things. I think I run into something like that on a daily basis because I'm still learning a lot. I think particularly, was underwriting the batteries of the vehicle. So when I'm doing a regular petrol or diesel vehicle financing versus an electric vehicle financing, the only difference is that there's no engine versus there's a battery and a motor in a car. Right? So how do you underwrite that life of the asset? How do you define how long it will run for? What value after the loan is over the vehicle will have or the asset will have? So everything related to the asset and its underwriting is something that we're constantly evolving. So we're building a lot of partnerships around it. And as and when we're doing more vehicles, we're getting more feedback on ground, we're understanding about more. Certain things are becoming standardized already, like what size of battery works the best, what cost of the battery should be ideal for a specific three-wheeler or a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. A year ago, all of this was not standardized at all. People were using any kind of voltage, any kind of ampere, any kind of battery sizes. So now with the volumes coming in, we're able to assess that data, and we feel that it can play a very crucial role in deciding how to underwrite an EV better compared to an ICE because it's a smarter vehicle than the traditional petrol diesel vehicles that we run today. So that is a constant realization, and we feel that recovery tomorrow for an electric vehicle will directly be linked to the technology of the vehicle and the battery used. So, what kind of access we can get out of it? What kind of data can we get out of it? How better can we understand the vehicle that we are financing or leasing? So, those things I think become very intermingled with, and was a very recent realization that this has to be something that we bank on to move forward and build a USP in financing electric vehicles.
So what's that sort of back of the envelope calculation you guys have for the battery, like 5 years, 6 years, 7 year? I'm sure you must be having that sort of number in your head.
It depends on the different technologies of the batteries used. So, like there's lithium ion, there's lead acid. Within lithium ion, there's LFP, there's NMC. Now people are dabbling with sodium ion also. So, depending on the technology used, there's different use cases for that specific battery. But typically, the ones that we do in three-wheelers and two-wheelers last somewhere between 3 years to 5 years. There's extended warranties, guarantees, then there's AMC support given by companies. So, combining everything, say up to 3 years for lower asset class and for a high speed vehicle, up to 5 years. Then we've also recently done buses. So, for buses, it can go up to 8 years also, the battery life with the warranty guarantee, extended warranty guarantee, etc.
Eight
Because
years.
OEMs.
How does 8 year works? Like for a bus, why is the duration is so long? Is it battery
It's
size?
because the battery size is bigger. So it's directly your service times or your tenure of the battery, residual value of the battery. Everything is related to the size of the battery, how big your battery is. So there's voltage and there's ampere, right? You see 100 ampere, 150 ampere, 200 ampere, then there's certain voltage. So these batteries typically run on a 48 volt times about 200 ampere to